Let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. For the law will go forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. We will walk in his bosom, and he will teach us his way. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Oh, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will judge many people, and decide for mighty nations far and wide. Sword will be beaten into plowshares, and nation will not learn war again. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, unto the house of the God of Jacob, unto the house of the God of Jacob. The hills are shaking, the hills are shaking, and the mountains move. My lead will never depart from you. My covenant of shalom is always true. Says Adonai, who has compassion on you. Now everybody sing that. The hills are shaking and the mountains move. My love will never depart from you. My covenant of shalom is always true. Says Adonai, who has compassion on you. Yerushalayim me'olah, Yerushalayim me'olah, Mother of freedom, Jerusalem above. In covenant of freedom, now you show your love. Jerusalem, city of the King, praise for freedom that your pictures bring. Children of the kingdom, Jerusalem above. Oh, more will be the children than the barren one. Enlarge your tent and spread from your place. Stretch your cords and strengthen your stakes. Spread yourself now to the right and left. Possess the nations, you were desolate. Yerushalayim me'olah, Yerushalayim me'olah, Mother of freedom, Jerusalem above. In covenant of freedom, now you show your love. Jerusalem, city of the King, praise for the freedom that your pictures bring. Children of the kingdom, Jerusalem above. more will be the children of the barren one. Let's do enlarge your tent. Enlarge your tent and spread from your place. Stretch your cord and strengthen your stakes. Spread yourself to the right and the left. Possess the nations you were desolate. Yerushalayim Me'olah, Yerushalayim Me'olah. Mother of freedom, now Jerusalem above. In covenant of freedom, now you show your love. Yerushalayim, city of the King. Praise for the freedom that your pictures bring. Children of the kingdom, Jerusalem above. More will be the children of the barren one. Yerushalayim Me'olah, Yerushalayim Me'olah. Mother of freedom, Jerusalem above. In covenant of freedom, now you show your love. Jerusalem, city of the King. Praise for the freedom that your pictures bring. Children of the kingdom, now Jerusalem above. More will be the children of the barren one. More will be the children of the barren one. Yerushalayim Hamuyah. The tribes go up to praise the name of the Lord. Peace within your walls, secure within your towers. I'll speak peace within you for the sake of the house of the Lord. Again. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, hallelujah. But to praise the name of the Lord. Peace within your walls, secure within your towers. I'll speak peace within you for the sake of the house of the Lord. Gadol Adonai hulal me'od, V'tamna hulal me'od, Eloheinu, Eloheinu harkasho, and hide the joy of the earth. Walk around the city, count all of her towers, consider all her ramparts, for thus is God forevermore. Hey, Tivah, B'Rtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion. Tivnei Chamo Yerushalayim. Hey, Tivah, B'Rtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion. Tivnei Chamo Yerushalayim. Again. Oh, hey, Tivah, B'Rtzoncha, et Tzion. Tivnei Chamo Yerushalayim. Hey, Tivah, B'Rtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion. Tivnei Chamo Yerushalayim. ירושלים, ירושלים הבנויה, שחוברה לה יחדיו. The tribes go up to praise the name of the Lord. Peace within your heart, secure within your mind. I'll speak peace within you for the sake of the house of the Lord. Gadol Adonai Hulal Me'od, Ve'ir Eloheinu Har Kadosh, beautiful and high, the joy of the earth. Walk around the city, count all of her towers, consider all her ramparts, for thus is God forevermore. Hey, Tiva, Birtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion, Tivnechomot Yerushalayim. Hey, Tiva, Birtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion, Tivnechomot Yerushalayim. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh hey, Tiva, Birtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion, Tivnechomot Yerushalayim. Lord, build up Jerusalem, hey, Tiva, Birtzoncha, et Tzion, Tzion, Tivnechomot Yerushalayim. Everything that we're singing is about lifting up Zion. Zion lifted up. Why? Because Zion is Judaism, and God wants to lift it up. Gadol Adonai Umula Me'od, Ve'ir Eloheinu Har Kadosh. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. In the city of our God is mountain holy. Gadol Adonai Umula Me'od, Ve'ir Eloheinu Har Kadosh. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. In the city of our God is mountain holy. Gadol Adonai, Gadol Adonai, lifted up and high, a city north of God above the sky. Kiryat Melech Rav, Kol haaretz Tzion, city of the King, joy of all the earth in Zion sing. Gadol Adonai Umula Me'od, Ve'ir Eloheinu Har Kadosh. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. In the city of our God is mountain holy. Again, O Gadol Adonai greatly to be praised in the city of our God, his mountain holy. Gadol Adonai, Gadol Adonai, lifted up and high, a city north is God above the sky. Kiryat Melech Rav, Kol haaretz Tzion, city of the King, joy of all the earth in Zion sing. Gadol Adonai, Gadol Adonai, lifted up and high, a city north is God above the sky. Kiryat Melech Rav, Kol haaretz Tzion, city of the King, joy of all the earth in Zion sing. Gadol Adonai, Olam me'od, Be'er Eloheinu har kadosho. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, his mountain holy. In the city of our God, his mountain holy. The holy mountain is his foundation. You love the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob, O city of Elohim. Of Zion, it will be said, this one was born in her. Elyon Most High will establish her. This one was born there. They sing and dance there. All my springs of joy are in you. Oh, Hev Adonai Sha'arei Tzion. You love the gates of Zion. Oh, all of my joy, all of my joy, all of my joy is in you. Oh, all of my joy, all of my joy, all of my joy is in you. The holy mountain is his foundation. You love the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob, O city of Elohim. Again, oh, the holy mountain is his foundation. You love the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob, O city of Elohim. Of Zion, it will be said, this one is born in her, born in the New Jerusalem. Elyon Most High will establish her. This one was born there. They sing and dance there. My springs of joy are in you. Oh, Ev Adonai Sha'arei Tzion. Tzion. You love the gates of Zion. Oh, all of my joy. Oh, all of my joy. All of my joy is in you. Oh, have Adonai Shadei Tzion. You love the gates of Zion. Oh, all of my joy. Oh, all of my joy. All of my joy is in you. Again. Oh, have Adonai Sha'arei Tzion. You love the gates of Zion. Oh, all of my joy, all of my joy, all of my joy is in you. All of my joy, all of my joy, all of my joy is in you. Oh, all of my joy, all of my joy, all of my joy is in you. Lord, all of our joy is not just generically in you, it's specifically in the ways of Zion, the gates of Zion, the elevation of Zion, all the things that you built into Zion where you chose to place, to establish, to build your name. And I ask that you would plug us into Tzion. This is Lev Tzion, Lord. This place that you've established is Lev Tzion, heart of Zion. And I ask that you would like brand onto our heart Tzion, Zion, your lifted up ways, the new Zion, the new Jerusalem in heaven. I thank you, Abba. I ask that your Spirit would teach us what that means, what it looks like, and how it functions today. In the name of Yeshua, amen. Her voice is going out on Wednesday nights. Her teachings, actually, I'm incorporating something she taught this week into my teaching today. So they're really good. Her teachings are very short, but very deep. Like a fountain. Very small, but very deep. Mine are big and vast and shallow and ridiculous, but hers are short and deep. So if you, those of you who are not on the mailing list, but you're listening to my teachings, send me your email address and I'll put you on that list so she can send you the notes. And by the way, if you're not getting the notes that I show every week and you want them, just send me your email with a request for those and I'll be glad to send them to you every week. Also, Passover is coming up in 2 weeks. Sorry, 3 weeks. 21st, whatever that is. 2 weeks or 3, about 3 weeks. So we need to get ready for Passover. Remember, right now, you're supposed to be removing all the leaven from your house. All leaven from your house. We take about a month to do it, from Purim to Passover. And removing all arrogance from your life. Okay, well, let's do that today. That's what we spend this 30 days doing. Because leaven is a picture of arrogance, and we're supposed to remove it from our house. Get it? Not an easy thing to do, but that's what we're supposed to be doing. Also, I have a lot of books of everything I teach and a lot of artwork that complements what I teach, pictures, available on my website. And I don't announce this, and I should. On my website, michaelwasherart.com.
Now, the only reason I'm saying it is because everything I teach, almost everything I teach, I put in book form, and it's easier to stop and highlight and read and go back and that sort of thing. I've sold a lot of pictures books lately, and several people have told me I'm on the third time through and I still don't get it. So it's not an easy read. The things I teach are not an easy read. They're deep. They're multi-layered. They're multi-layered. Not so much deep, but they're multi-layered. And so you have to pick up a layer at a time, and it's hard. It's not easy. They're like onions. That is correct. So I just want to say that, and then also like the videos, subscribe to the Lev Tzion channel on YouTube, and make comments. I've been getting comments. I'm happy about that. I've been getting comments on the videos. I like that. A couple of them were nasty. That's fine. That's fine. I like it. I like it because I like responding to that stuff. It shows their thinking. That's right. They're wrestling with it, and I like that. Okay. So now we come to one of the most important concepts, teachings in the whole Bible. Because it's so important, you know by nature that it's so important that nobody understands it. Because that's how the Bible works. The ones that are really, really big, like the stuff that's really important, nobody understands. Nobody. Not Jews, not Christians, nobody. Now, once in a great while, there'll be somebody, Orthodox Jews or believers, that God will show it to them. But unless God shows it to them, they're not going to see it. I was one of those. I was fortunate. God showed it to me. And that's the only reason I know it. It's not because I studied or somebody taught me. It's because literally God showed it to me. And it flipped me out. It just freaked me out. Now, I've taught it before, but what I'm doing lately is I'm slowing down. I'm slowing down, I'm like putting less into a teaching. So that because there's people who are new and it's really, really hard to get your head wrapped around this stuff unless you slow down, take your time. So the name of the teaching is Why Jerusalem is Equal to Judaism. So like if you read Zion or you read Jerusalem in the Bible, it doesn't really mean only the city of Jerusalem. What it really means is all of Judaism. Like Zion, and why do I say that? I'll show you why I say that, but just to give you a little summary as to what I'm saying is this. If you're a Gentile, and there was, while the temple was standing, either the first temple or the second temple, you're a Gentile out in, say, I don't know, Philistia. You're a Philistine. And for some magical reason, you want to know God. Or you're in Puerto Rico, and you want to go to Israel and get to know God. The only place you can get to know him is Israel, in Jerusalem, at the temple. That's it. That's your only option. Because you have to go to Jerusalem to see the Ma'amad, the cycles of standing ones that go up to Zion and down, and up to Zion and down, and up to Zion and down. Every Shabbat, every what? What's next? Passover. Nope. New moon, every month, and then what? Every festival. Yes? All the Moedim. So, Shabbat, new moon, and festivals. And during those times, you have these cycles of people going up and doing stuff. Now the Gentile come in here, he or she is unclean. So they can't even go in. So they're stuck. So outside the temple were these big mikvaot, big places to bathe, to go into the water, and to become ritually clean, and to be instructed on how to go up there and do stuff. And the rabbis would teach them, this is what you do. Don't do this, do that. Why do I do that? Well, you're going to do that because it's this and this and this. And they instruct the Gentile. Then the Gentile goes up to the temple, and if they do everything right, and if they're clean, they can go into the court of the women. And if they do everything right, and if they're clean, they can go into the court of Israel after they've learned. And then they get to see intimately. I have a big illustration back there that shows what they would see. Sacrifices, the altar, the place where they kill the animals, the big tables where they prepare the sacrifices. They would see all this. The big lavers where they would wash themselves and wash parts of the animals. And they'd see all of this activity and they'd go, what a bizarre, amazing God you've got. Because that's what it says in Deuteronomy they would do in chapter 9. It says they'll hear all the mitzvot. They'd see it, they'd see all that stuff, and they'd hear it talking to them. And they'd go, and it says in there, and they will say, what an awesome, amazing God you serve, Jews. This was God's plan. That's his curriculum. That's why Zion is Judaism. Because all the Jewish stuff happens in that house and around that house. Yes? Yeah. That's why it's Judaism. So when you read Jerusalem and you read Zion from now on, hopefully when we're done with the teaching, you're going to be able to not just see a city, but you'll see activity. You'll see stuff happening. You'll see the whole curriculum of God. Okay? Judaism. All right, so we're in Leviticus chapter 6, and we're going to read verse 8, and then 8 through 9, and then verse 13. So this one word, that's the title of the Torah portion. In Hebrew, everybody say tzav, not zav. Zav means an issue of semen. Tzav, like tsitsi fly, like tz, tsitsi fly. Tzitzit, not zitzit, tzitzit, tz. Okay, I'm warning you, don't say zav. So it's tzav. Say it again. Tzav. Tzav. Okay. Now tzav in every Bible is translated the same way. And it's not translated, it's mistranslated. Every Bible mistranslates it as this word, command. Now we're going to examine why, and we're going to examine why it's not command. I'm going to be very, very specific, and you're going to understand this by the time we're done. I guarantee it. If you don't, like as we're going, if you don't get what I'm saying, please stop me and ask a question. Because I want, by the time we're done, I want there to be zero question about what I'm saying. Nobody teaches this that I can find. Not Jews, not Orthodox Jews, not Hasidic Jews, not Reform Jews, not Messianic Jews, not Christians of any stripe. I've never heard this from anybody. So, I want to make sure that everybody gets it. Okay? Now, put a little plug. I have a book that I've written about this called Obedience or Understanding. It's on my website, michaelwasherart.com, on the writings page. So let's talk about tzav. Not zav, tzav. Okay. Whatever that is, tzav, Aaron and his son saying, this is the Torah. Ooh, I don't care what comes after that. Think about what it's saying. Tzav, Aaron, this. It's a pointing word, zeh. It means this, it's pointing. Yes? Okay, I can prove it. In Exodus chapter 13, when God gives the very first mitzvah to Israel, anybody know what the first mitzvah that he gave to Israel is? Nobody knows?
You shall make this the first month for you.
Very good. You shall make this the first month for you, the first moon for you. What it says in Hebrew is, Zeh HaChodesh. This is the moon that will be the new moon for you. Listen to what I'm saying. This, Zeh. And all the rabbis say the same thing, that the word Zeh is a pointing word. And it means God literally pointed to the moon for Moshe and said, this is what it looks like, the new moon for you. Make sense? Yep. Okay, so that's what it says here. Zeh HaTorah. Whatever that word is to Aaron, this is the Torah for the Olah. So, do you see what I'm saying? If you say command, you lose the sense of God going, hey, look. See what I'm saying? You need to get up, get your chair, fold it, and put it in the back. Everybody will go, yes, sir, and I'm going to do that. But if I say, look at the chair. Look how it's built. Look how it's like it's able to fold the hinge. What are you going to obey? What is there to obey?
Nothing.
I'm asking you a question.
Nothing.
If I say, look at the hinge on the chair, look at it, examine it, what is there to obey?
Nothing.
All there is either understanding or no understanding. That's your only two options, right? That's what's happening here. Now, if we say command, we got a problem because now it's like, yes, sir. Instead of, this is the Torah. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. The word is tzav, and it means set up or establish. I'm going to prove it to you. Set up or establish for Aaron and his sons, saying, Zeh HaTorah. This is it. This is how you do it. Does that make sense? Yes. For the burnt offering. Here's the word. In Jusinius, tzava. Everybody say tzava. Not zava, because that's a female expression of something from the body. Tzava. Tsa. Tzava. Now, what he says, and this is good etymology, history of a word. That's what etymology means. This is good. It means to set up. That's it. That's it. He doesn't go any farther than that because that's all it means. Now, I'm glad I have this because tzav means this. That's all. That's it. There's no command. There's no force of adjuration, like, telling somebody to do something. To adjure somebody means to force them to do something. It's just set it up. Now, if it's set up, what does that mean? You look at it, right? It's laying down, you can't see it. So God goes, whoop, set it up. Now, this is the Torah. Make sense? I just love this concept. It's so simple, but everybody universally misses it. So, it means to set up. Now, sometimes it's translated as to constitute or appoint. This is Old English, so it's, we get lost here. Constitute or appoint anyone over anything. All right. But basically, he's just saying, Sava means to set up. That's it. And he's right. I'll prove to you he's right. I'm not going to just say it. I'm going to prove it to you.
What does it mean not used in cow?
I don't know. Oh. I think that's a source, like a German theologian, I believe. You need to check me on that. Now, this is what Jusinius said. His pal, Strong's, another Christian doctor in the 1800s, surrounded by Christians. He taught in a Christian university. Both these guys taught in a Christian university. They were professors in a theological Christian environment, surrounded by Christians, surrounded by churches, surrounded by cathedrals, surrounded by Christian culture. That's all they knew. Look what Strong's does with it. To command. Now, where did he get that from? Charge, give orders, to lay or give charge to, order, to lay charge upon, to give charge, give command to give charge unto, to give charge over, appoint, to give charge, command, to charge. I didn't cut and paste this more than once. I copied and pasted this directly from the source. Why does it keep repeating? Command, 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 charge. Because that's what they believed. Now, somehow, Jusinius escaped this folly, and he just said what the root was. Set up. Okay? But when we get one step deeper into Jusinius, you're going to see he's going to fall for the same folly, the same mistake. which is this. Nowhere in the Hebrew does it mean command. How is this a command? What's commanded? Get thee up. I mean, there's no command. It's just get something that's down and put it up. That's all. And I'm going to show it to you in detail. So there's no question about this.
There's where it says to cause it to exist.
I don't know where. Okay, down on the bottom. All the host of it, is that where it is? Caused to exist?
Right above it, right there.
Okay, cause it to exist. That's pretty cool. Now that's the word tzava, which is to establish. And you notice that at the beginning, I said, set up or establish. That is correct. To establish something, it's basically to create it. Like set it up, create it. It didn't exist before. Whoop, there it is. That's what he's saying. Or that's what the Hebrew is saying. Okay. So we got a problem here. We got a problem. Now, forever after, all Christians who use a Strong's Concordance, and there's millions, go, oh, it means command. And then they go to the Bible and they read that verse, command Aaron, they go, yes, God commanded. Beautiful. And it's wrong. It's just plain wrong. And here's how we know it's wrong. These are the cognates of the word tzav. Now in Hebrew, there's two different letters that go v, that say the v sound. What are they? Vet and vav. Vet and vav. So here you can see tzav, the way it's written in our passage, and tzav with a vet. They sound the same. So they mean the same thing. I'm going to show you they mean the same thing. Tzav and tzav, written with a different letter, but mean the same thing. So here's the first word, tzava, that we just looked up. It means to set up or establish. Simple, yes? Yeah. Now, look at what the cognates mean. Every single one of them mean this, without exception. Every one of them. Netzav, that's with a vet. Netzav. Netzav or netziv, same word. To set in place. Whoop! To set in place. To stand. Simple, right? Yes or no? You get it? Netziv. Got something that's down, it stands. Where's the command? Then yatzav. Different cognate, same word. To set, to put in place, to place. Whoop! Now this one is not just stand, this is to put and make it stand, which is like to exist. That's where that comes from. To set oneself, to take a stand. That's where the phrase take a stand comes from. To make yourself established and standing. Yes? To stand up. It doesn't get any simpler than that. To stand up. To stand for anyone or anything. Yes? Is there any doubt what tzav means so far? Whoop, to stand up. And now, nitzavim. Now, this is a Torah portion at the end of Deuteronomy that we read every year, and it literally is called nitzavim. And all the rabbis translate it the same way. They don't say command ones. They don't say commanded people. They say standing ones, because that's what it means. Nitzavim, Deuteronomy 29. You are all standing here today. Nitzavim, hayom. You are all standing here, hayom, this day, before the Lord your God. So, any doubt as to what tzav means? No. Say it again, tzav. Tzav. Not zav, tzav. Keep trying. Okay. Now here's the last one. I really like this one. Matzeva. Matzeva. Yes, because I want you to see that They're the same as the Vav. They mean the same exact thing. Okay. I like this one because when Jacob was at Hamakom, the place, Mount Moriah, and he saw the ladder going up to heaven, it says after that dream, he set up a matzeva. And they translate it as a stone. He set up a stone and he poured oil on it. He anointed it with oil, made it into the Messiah, Mashiach, or Mashach. Look what it means. A standing stone. Why would it mean a standing stone? Because it's nitzav. It's stood up. So it's called a matzeva. Now, a matzeva can be, it means something stationed or set up, a monument, a pillar, a statue, or even an idol. Because an idol, you set it up. Why do people set up an idol? Are they set up by blind people? Why do people set up idols?
Because that's there and we're not.
No. Why? Is it set up by blind people? No. People who are physically blind?
They're establishing it.
Is it set up by blind people?
Yes.
Physically blind. Is it set up by physically blind people?
No.
So then why would they set it up?
Because they're
So they can, yeah. That's why an idol is set up, so they can see it and then do whatever they do. But the important thing about an idol is that it is set up for people to look at. Then comes all that stuff that you guys want to talk about. Well, that's where they have their faith or whatever you want to do with it. I don't care. But the important thing is it's set up for people to look at. Yeah? Okay. All these words, tzav, 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 they all mean the same thing. Is there any doubt as to what tzav means? No. What does it mean? Set up or stand.
Can I say
Yes.
something? I thought I'm seeing real clearly. The first one, sabah, is with vav, and the vav in Hebrew is the connecting.
Okay, we're going to get there. We're not there yet. I knew you were going to do that. Hold your horses, girl. Yes.
Are there any examples of those in the Torah that use the vav instead of the bet for illustrating something to be stood up?
Yes, that's what we're about to look at.
Okay.
That's the only other word. It's the only other word that uses the word tzav. Mitzvah. You know what a mitzvah is. What is it? What is it?
Something established for you to do.
Yeah, but what is it? Like if you took all the mitzvot and you squashed them together, what would that ball be? Judaism. So a mitzvah is one little part of Judaism, yes? Okay, it's the only other word that uses the vav. Now, I'm going to show you why this is so incredibly important. You can go anywhere on the planet. You can go to a Messianic congregation or to a regular Jewish synagogue, a temple of any kind. And this is what they say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu whatever. Fill in the blank after that. And they translate it all the same way. They all translate it the same way. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us, we don't even know what that means, who sanctifies us by your commandments and commands us to whatever. This is why this is important. This is wrong. It's wrong. Yes, who establishes. I mean, it's so hard. I can't even read this anymore because we've been doing it right for so long. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, not King of the universe, who sets us apart. That's what sanctify means. Who sets us apart by your established things or establishments or set up things. Yes? And who establishes us to whatever. Yeah? Simple, right? No more commands. No more yes, sir. It doesn't exist. Now, if you take this away from the Jews, and you take this away from the Messianic Jews, and you take this away from Christians who are trying to learn the Jewish way, this is what happens. They fall apart and they go, so what are we doing? What are we left with? What's the answer? What are we doing?
We do the mitzvahs and then we listen.
Okay, but what? What are we doing? What's it called?
Judaism.
Okay, how are we doing Judaism? What's it called? We are doing something nobody else does. What's it called?
Picture.
Right, pictures. If you take away the commands, what are you left with? You're left with the instruction. Everybody get the chair, fold it up, go put it in the back right now. Or I could say it like this. Hey everyone, my friends, my beloved friends, will you please get the chair and fold it up, and let's all go together to put it neatly in the back.
They're listening.
Why aren't you doing it? Okay. The only other option is, hey guys, look at the chair. Look at how that hinge thing works. Look at it. You can fold it and it'll like fold in half. That's a miracle. It's amazing. Look at it. Now, can you go draw a picture of that? All right, all we're left with is instruction, pictures, if you take away commandments. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is critical for you to understand, because if there are no commands in the Bible, there's nothing to obey. God never said, thou shalt do this. He said, Jews, do this. Now listen to it. And people can listen to it or not listen to it. But if you do it without listening to it, you're doing it because you think God commands us to do it. And there is no in between. There is no in between. You can't fudge it and go, well, sometimes I do it because I want to learn, and sometimes I just want to obey my Lord. I want to obey Him. And if you're doing that, if you're doing that, you are doing it without learning. And that is the curse of the law. Even if you're doing it like, I want to obey my Lord, I just love Him so much, I want to obey Him. That is the curse of the law. Because it's not instruction. It's not a simple picture, that's set up, and God goes, this, look at it, and learn from it, right? Makes sense, yes? Okay. Or maybe it's starting to make sense. Translate tzavah as command. They translate mitzvah as commandment. They translate mitzvot as commandments. So what is it really? Set up thing. Set up things, plural. Or establish. That's it. That's all there is. I could stop teaching right now, and this could, if you use this properly, it will change your life. I'm not going to stop teaching now, but I could. So are we all on the same page?
Yep.
I'm telling you, when I learned this way after I learned pictures. Way after. I learned pictures 40 years ago. I didn't learn this until 10 years ago. That's a big gap. And I kept asking God, I don't understand. They all translate it commands, commandments, but it's not commands. So how does this work? And then He taught me. Okay, now we come to mitzvah. And look what Jusinius does. He loses he mind. See what he did? He did fine with the root, savah, but then when it comes to a mitzvah, it coming out of God's mouth, all of a sudden, it's a command. Why? Because that's what Christians believed. And so he put that, just like Strong's did, into his work. And he shouldn't have done it. Mitzvah, from the root savah, which he got right. a command, a precept. And he's off the rails. Because he left the root of the word.
Precept kind of makes sense, because that's just something that's established.
Yeah, precept isn't bad, but a command is no good. Especially the use of the precepts of God, Deuteronomy 6:1, 25, 7:11, of a human teacher, Proverbs 7:1 and 2. A human what?
Teacher.
You see the contradiction in what he's saying? It's a command. It's a really good teacher. It can't be both.
Well, it says of a teacher. Like
Yeah, but what he's saying is in the Bible, you can see it in a teacher. No, you cannot be both. It can't be a command and a really good teacher. We don't learn anything from a command, do we?
No.
I mean, did you ever learn anything from a command? Those of you who were in the army, did you ever learn anything that touched your heart and gave you an understanding of bigger issues from somebody saying, get down, give me 20? No. Or whatever they say. Whatever they say. All right, so he's contradicting himself here. But it's because of the culture in which he lived, a Christian culture. The idea of prohibition is found, now this is interesting, is found in Leviticus 4. Any of the mitzvot which ought not to be done. Think about that. It's a mitzvah, it's a set up, established thing. God gets it and says, whoop, there it is. This is what you should not do. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to do the mitzvah? Okay, there are 200 and... I always mess this up. Wait, I'll do it the other way. There's 365 negative mitzvot. You shall not steal. Lo, right. Lo tirtzach. No murder. Okay? There's 365 of them. There's 245, I think.
The difference between that and 13.
Right. I think it's 245. You can do the math. Positive mitzvot. You shall. Okay? That's what he's talking about here. He's talking about the negative mitzvot. But he calls it the commandments of things you shall not do. You see what I'm saying? He's contradicting himself again because he's left the root, which ought not to be done. There are mitzvot that are not to be done. You're doing a negative thing. Listen, I don't eat pork. I'm doing a mitzvah. It's a negative mitzvah. You shall not eat pig because it is supposed to be positive mitzvah and abomination to you. So you can do the positive and the negative. I'm going to avoid pork. I ain't going to eat that pepperoni on the pizza. Now, no eating pepperoni on the pizza? Talk to me. Give me understanding why I'm doing this. And God talks to me. And then at the same time, what are we having? Oh. That's a positive mitzvah. You shall let it be an abomination, a disgusting thing to you. Now, sometimes you got to work it up. Okay? So there's a positive and a negative to a lot of the mitzvot. Does that make sense?
I really thought you were having a heart attack.
So, listen, all of them are set up things, but none of them are commands. None of them. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. So, look at this. This is what did it for me. When I read this put the nail in the whatever. And it was like, oh my God, I understand. These are words from a Hasidic rabbi quoting the Kabbalah. Look what it says. The word tzav translates as command. As taught by the Zohar, command is idol worship. What? This seems very shocking considering one often hears from religious people, I do this mitzvah because Hashem commands me to do it. You can go to any Messianic congregation on the planet. I know because I've done it. I haven't been in whole lot of other nations, but I've been in a couple. And I've been in many, many, many Messianic congregations. And I see what they write online nowadays. You can go to any Messianic congregation and go, do you do the commandments? And they'll go, yes. And you'll go, why? And they'll go, because I love God. And I want to obey him. And everybody around goes like this. I've been in these conversations thousands of times. I know what I'm talking about. I wish I could be like that.
I'm so obedient.
Yeah, you're so obedient. Oh, it's beautiful. It's delicious. It's idol worship. This is from the Zohar. The people who are so rabid about doing the mitzvot all day, every day. Do the mitzvot. Command is idol worship. This seems shocking because religious people say, I do the mitzvot because God commands it. It is important to realize that concealed in the word mitzvah is the word tzav. Now, they don't explain this a whole lot. They expect you to know what this means, that it means set up or establish. The Kabbalah also explains that when someone accepts a command from anyone, even God, they're giving up their free will. They're giving up their free will and becoming a slave to whomever makes that command. Now, I know what you guys from a Christian background are thinking. Well, we're supposed to be bondservants of God. We're supposed to be his slaves. He never gave a command. You keep forgetting. He never gave a command. What did he give?
Establish things.
Say it out loud so you can get it into your head. What did he give? Say it in Hebrew. Mitzvah. Or tzava. Or mitzvot. Anything like that. And what does it mean? Set up or establish things. Period. He never gave a command, so how can you obey in the first place? Do you see the merry-go-round you're on if you think like this? You go, oh, but he said to do this, and I want to obey him. He never gave a command. You're back on the merry-go-round. I want to. Well, he never gave a command. So what are you going to obey in the first place? You see what I'm saying? If you're going to believe this, what the scriptures say, you got to go all the way with it. You can't do this halfway. You either want to know what the scriptures say or you don't. But you can't say, oh, I want to know what the scriptures say, but not that. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you're doing. If you believe for just a moment that God gave the command, gave any commands, you're back on that merry-go-round, same place you were. You got to get off the merry-go-round and go, it's something else. I may not know what it is, but I know it's something else. It's something set up or established. So, command is slavery. Tzav, which is not command, tzav can be slavery if you take it as a command, or it can be freedom if you take it as what? As what? A picture or an instruction. Look at that. Look how it folds. It's amazing. Look at that. Learn from it. Instead of, everybody, fold your chair. Yeah? There's no in between. It's one or the other. Yes?
So, thinking when he goes, zeh, like this.
When he says zeh,
it's pointing to something to look at. So if
Yes.
you just start thinking of the
yes, that's what I said. When God goes zeh, he's pointing at something. Why do people make idols?
So you can see them.
So they can see them. Why does God give a set up or established thing?
You can see them.
So you can see it. And you can learn from it. That's all. Bizarrely simple, isn't it? You're looking for something deep, it's not there. It's just not there. It's very, very simple. If you're looking for something deep, You're going to have to think differently to get this. Okay, now we come to, I might be wrong about this. The rest of the whole teaching is based on what I'm about to show you, and I might be 100% wrong. My Hebrew is good, but it's not perfect. My Hebrew is good. My biblical Hebrew is good. I've worked a lot of years to make sure it's good, but it ain't perfect. So I've done all the research I can do to try to make this as understandable as I can. Can you turn the air conditioner off, please? So look at this. Look at this. Now we come to the word Tzion, Zion. Zion. Now watch this. Zion, he says, comes from tsava, tsaya, with a yod, which means sunny or shiny or bright. So therefore, Tzion means a sunny place, desert. Yeah? Okay, maybe. Maybe it comes from the root saha. I was wrong. Saha with a hey. And then he says, compare the Arabic, etc. The radical H is retained in Syriac and Arabic. I don't know anything about this. I'm lost here. And then he shows it to you in Syriac and Arabic. And then he says, feminine Zion, the higher and southern hill on which the city of Jerusalem was built, very often used by the prophets and poets for Jerusalem itself. And he gives examples in the scriptures. Okay, that's true. Now look at this. They are also poetically called daughter of Zion. Who's poetically called daughter of Zion? Well, who? In the Bible, who's daughter of Zion? The Jews. Israel, right. So he's saying, did you hear what he said? He's saying the Jews are Bat Tzion, daughters of Zion. Yes? And that's true. It's all over the scriptures. That Israel is the daughter of Zion. That means who gave birth to her? To him, to her, to whatever. Who gave birth to the kid? You didn't follow me. The Jews are called daughter of Zion. Therefore, who gave birth to the Jews?
Zion. Because they're daughters of Zion.
The Jews.
The mother or the daughter or the dad.
Right. The Jews have a mommy or a daddy, we don't know which one, which is Zion. All Jews in the whole planet, our mommy or daddy is Zion. Right. This is why in the New Testament, Shaul says in Galatians, the new Jerusalem, Tzion Hadashah, the new Zion, she is our mother. He's just quoting what the Hebrew says, Bat Tzion. So now we have a link between Zion and the Jews. And I'm going to show you that they're the same thing. Zion is Judaism. The Jews are supposed to be walking Judaism, right? Supposedly, right? Okay, the women of Jerusalem is Bat Tzion. Okay, that's good. All that makes sense. Now, look what he does in the very next word. Tziun. Everybody say Tziun. It's written the very same as Tzion. Only the dot is on top of the vav here, and here the dot is inside the vav. U. That's an U sound. That's an O sound. So say Tzion. That's Zion. Now say Tziun. That means
Something set up.
a pillar.
But it's still the same thing, though.
Tzion. So why isn't Tzion, Zion, a pillar or something set up? You see what I'm saying? I think he's wrong about Saha. I think it's the same root as this, Sava.
What's sippus?
That's an old word from Latin, I think, for a pillar. A sipus, from Latin for a pillar. It means a pillar. I had to look that up. I didn't know either. A pillar, so called from its being Sava. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about Boaz, because
No, the pillar is called Boaz. It's a different dude.
Pillar is
Called Boaz. One of them, yes.
Okay, now how does that relate to being set up?
Well, it does, but it's a long story, so let's let's save that for another time. Maybe I'll teach it to you with that picture today. Okay? Which I can. But think about that. A pillar is called a pillar. It's called a tziun for one reason, because whoop, it's set up. So then why doesn't Tzion mean something set up? I think he's wrong.
Kind of goes back and forth.
Okay. This is amazing to me. Hold on just a second. Remember, tzava means to set up or establish. Netzav means to set in place, to stand. That's a tziun. Okay.
Is Boaz really a picture of the kinsman redeemer?
Okay, like I said, let's try to focus on this. And I'll teach it to you after the teaching with the picture, okay?
Does it have anything to do with Yeshua?
Okay, well, I know what I'm going to teach you, hon. Okay, so let's talk about this, all right? If it's true that Tzion really means something lifted up, standing up, set up, it makes perfect sense. And when you go to Israel, you move to Israel, what's it called? Aliyah. If you go for a vacation to Israel, what's it called? Aliyah. If you live in Mount Everest, and you go from Mount Everest, highest point on the earth, to Israel, what's it called? Aliyah. If you live in the Galilee, which is way, way, way north of Israel, and you live up in Dan in the Galilee, and you go to Jerusalem, what's it called? No matter where you are on this planet, if you go to Israel, if you go to Jerusalem, if you go to the Temple Mount, it is called Aliyah, going up.
Because it's an illustration of
Right. And that's what God built into this on purpose. Tzion is tziun. It's the same thing. It's a pillar. It's a thing set up high. Now, like I said, I might be wrong about this, but it makes sense, and I'm going to show you more about why it makes sense. No matter where you are in the world, you go up to Jerusalem. Why? Because God wanted it lifted up. Here's the problem. It's not high. It's not high. It's only like there's these valleys right next to Jerusalem, right?
it's only higher than that.
Yeah. Can you move the painting to the left a little bit that's on the easel? And you guys, I want you to look back at that topographical map of Israel. We can't get it on the camera, so I'll just explain. All right, you see on the right-hand side there's that green valley? Yes? Yes. There you go. And then through the middle of, then through the middle of the city, right up next to the Temple Mount, there's another valley. That's called the Valley of Tyropene. And then on the left-hand side, that's hell. That's the Valley of Gehinnom. That is hell, literally hell. It's like when the Bible, when it says Gehinnom, that means the Valley of Gehenna. That's hell. All right, listen. If you're at the lowest point in that whole topographical map, go to the Temple Mount, the big rectangle, to the bottom right corner. Point to the bottom right corner. Listen to me. Point to the bottom right corner of the trapezoid. Please. Okay, point to it, please. Just keep your finger there. Point to it, touch it. Touch the bottom. It's got to be on the trapezoid. On the trapezoid. It's a rectangle. No, the rectangle. Okay. Now, just to the left of your finger is a long, long, long building. That's it. Okay. Go to the right-hand side of that roof. The roof. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, right there. Right where your finger is the highest point of the temple. It's called the pinnacle of the temple. That's where Yeshua was when Hasatan said, throw yourself off, you'll be fine. No, don't do that. Touch that part. It is the highest point on the entire temple. It is where it's called the Beit HaTekiyah, which means the house of trumpet blowing. And that's where they would sing. Oh, you're not touching it. Listen, it's where the trumpets were blown to announce the Shabbat and announce every morning and announce every evening. Okay? It's a very, very important part. Now, drop down into the valley from there. Oh, for goodness sake. Listen. This is topographical. Go down into the valley from the highest point. Yes. Okay, now, that's the lowest point in anything around Jerusalem. From that point to just touch anywhere on the Temple Mount. Touch anywhere on the Temple Mount. Okay, not touch anywhere in the courts, in the Temple Mount. Okay, thank you. From the lowest point to the Temple courts, it's only 400 feet. That's it. That's it. That ain't no mountain.
Right. It's like we're with it.
Yeah, it's not that high. You get what I'm saying? Okay, thank you, Doug. You may sit down. Everybody listen to me. Everybody listen to me. Shh. Listen. It's only 400 feet, and that's the lowest to the highest point. Everything else is less.
Because the Lord set it up?
Well, it's not set up high, though.
No, but it still is.
Okay, and that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. It's not that high. And yet there's all these verses that are going to say, Zion is high and lifted up. No, it ain't. God, you're wrong. Or it means something else. It has to mean something else. All right. Here's the first one. We're going to look at several. Yerushalayim Me'olah is the concept we're looking at. And here's why. There's two Jerusalems. There's that one that you were pointing at on earth, and there's one directly above it in heaven. The one on earth is called Yerushalayim Hamatah, which means Jerusalem the below. This one that's up high is called Yerushalayim Me'olah. Olah. Olah. Aliyah. It's the same word. Aliyah. To go up. So it means Jerusalem the up. Yes?
They actually call the people that make Aliyah, they call them Olim.
That's correct. The ones who go to Israel and live there are called Olim, which means rising ones. Like the Olah offering, like the burnt offering. That's correct. And remember what God said at the very beginning. Ze haTorah ha'olah. This is the Torah of the rising thing. This is it. This is the Torah of the rising thing. Tzav. Tzion. That's the Torah of the rising, the thing that's risen. Does that make sense? Therefore, now I'm starting to develop what I'm trying to tell you, that Tzion isn't just a city. It's a synonym. It's a code word for Judaism and the ways of God's people, the Jews. Now look at this. And it is known, and you can see it in Ta'anit 5a. Ta'anit means fasts. It's the Talmud about fasts. And it is known in Ta'anit 5a that everything we see in this world has its counterpart above. Everything we see in this world has its counterpart above. Everything we what?
See.
Why does God set things up? So you can see it. And that's why idolatry is set up, so people can see it. Make sense? Yes, there is a Jerusalem below, and there's a Jerusalem above. There's a mountain of the Lord, the Temple Mount, below, and the mountain of the Lord above. And I'm going to prove it to you in Scripture. There is a place called the camp of the Shekhinah, the camp of the Holy Spirit, the court of the tent of meeting below, and also above, concerning which Scripture says, and who will stand in his holy place? Lift up your head, O Jerusalem, be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. That's from Rosh Hashanah. Okay? It's from Rosh Hashanah. The King of glory will come into his courts. Where?
Up in Jerusalem.
In heaven. Okay. Look at Ezekiel 28. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but if you haven't, this is a trip. This is just one little snippet of God's description of Hasatan in the ancient days. You had the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. You were the anointed keruv. How many keruvim are there? 2. Nope. How many keruvim are there?
24?
Nope.
70.
They're the things that form God's throne that he flies around on.
4.
4. And they each have a wheel next to them, one on each corner, right? Now, if you put that into 2 dimensions and you make a drawing of it, which is the model of the chariot of God, which is the Ark of the Covenant, how many angels are on there? 2. And they're facing each other, right? Anciently, it was only one. It was Hasatan. He was the keruv, the covering keruv. But when he was removed from his position, he's still a servant of God. Don't think he's not. He is. When he was removed from his position, there's now this, them facing each other. It used to be just one dude. He can do whatever he wants. Now they're facing each other, and they have something to compare each other to. Right? Like, I guess I ain't all that. Because I got, the same guy looking back at him. So, yes, like Edut. You are the anointed keruv who covers, and I set you there, where? On the holy mountain of God. This is before God created Israel and created, I don't know if it was even before creation. It might be, I don't know. But it's certainly in the ancient days. Does that make sense? Where was Hasatan? Where was Hasatan? On the holy mountain. Where's that? Heaven. It looks like you got lost. What happened? Why? What? The Temple Mount below and a mountain of the Lord above. The holy mountain of God. Where is that? Where is that? In heaven. Do you see what I'm saying? It looks like you got lost. I'm not sure why. This was.
You lost it because you mentioned that Hasatan was standing on top of the ark first, and then.
Why would that lose you? That's the way it used to be. It's not like that anymore.
It was a more concept introduced.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have introduced that maybe. Too much? Too much? Okay. Scratch that. Let's have that removed from the, what are those stenographers who take the court proceedings? Strike that from the proceedings, please. Okay, so anyway, this, whoever it was, this keruv, was on the mountain, the holy mountain of God. And this is in the ancient days. So that proves to you there is a mountain above, a mountain of Zion above in heaven. Yes? Yes. Okay, I think we're on the same page. That's why this drawing is so important to me. Everything that is above, there's a counterpart to it on earth, and it looks Jewish. That's the purpose of Judaism, to reflect that. The Zion above. If you want to reflect heaven, you got to do Judaism. But you got to do it not as a command. You got to do it how? As a picture. How do you do it? How do you do it? You got to do it how? I only heard one person. You got to do it how? You got to do it how? God, I just can't get you to say it for some reason. Yeah, I know. Everybody they can hear you next door. Okay, I just can't tell if I've got you or not. You can either do it as a command, or you can do it as what? As a picture. Thank you, Mary, for your leading and guiding. Okay, here's the next one. Look at the illustrations for each page, by the way. This is from Psalm 84. Psalm 48. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, his holy. Really? 400 feet is a holy mountain? I don't think so. So it's not talking about Zion on earth. It's talking about Zion in heaven. Yeah? Did you get that? Beautiful in elevation. And that is exactly what it says in Hebrew. Yafeh, beautiful, nof, height. Beautiful height. It's only 400 feet. You see, it cannot be talking about that Jerusalem. It's talking about that Jerusalem. And how do you get there? You go up. There's nothing deep about this. How do you get up there? Say it. You go. I can't get you to say it. Listen, the only way I know if you understand is if you say. That's the only way I'm going to know. Because if you don't say it, then you're like this. And I don't know if it's making sense to you or not. The only way I know is if I ask and you answer. The only way I know. So please be nice to me, please. Please be kind and answer back if I ask a question. Everybody. That way I can see if we're all together. I'm a good teacher. That's how teachers function. Okay? His holy mountain, where is that? In heaven. Beautiful in elevation. If you're going to go to Zion, how are you going to get there? Go up. The joy of the whole earth. Really? Really? That place is the joy of the whole earth?
It will be.
Yeah, it will be. It is not. It never has been. Every nation on the planet hates that spot. They hate it and they want it. They want it and they want to kill every Jew to get it. That's not the joy of the whole earth. It's the disgusting thing of the whole earth. And I know this because it says it in Zechariah 14. It says, in that day, all the nations will come to make war against that spot because they hate it so much. Okay. It's not about us. It's about everybody else. It says, listen. It says the whole earth. Every time, listen, it's not. It's not. Every time we read something and I go, not true, it kind of throws you. You've got to see what I'm saying. It obviously is not true. Therefore, it obviously means something else. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, there's lots. This happens all the time in the Bible.
It's just that when we know that it's true, that
I know. I know.
Don't you think that when it does increase that knowledge, that increases our joy?
Listen, I'm trying to teach you how to read the Bible. And right now, you're not learning this little concept. I'm going to try my best to get this across to you. There's many, many, many instances in the Bible where you could read it and go, that's ridiculous, God, you're wrong. Or you can say something else. And the only other thing you could come up with is, it's got to mean something else. It's got to mean something else. You understand? Yep. That's pictures. That's how we read the Bible, as pictures. It's called anomalies. An anomaly is something that doesn't fit. Like 1, 2, 3, 7. It doesn't fit. It stops you in your tracks and you go, that's dumb. The joy of the whole earth, Jerusalem. No, God, that's dumb. So it's got to mean something else. You see what I'm saying? That's how we see pictures. By anomalies. And that's an anomaly. We got several anomalies here in the same verse. His holy mountain. It's not a mountain. It's a hill. Beautiful in elevation. No, it ain't. It's only 400 feet tall at the most. The joy of the whole earth. No, it's not. Is Mount Zion in the far north? The far north of what? It's not in the far north of anything. Zion is not in the far north of anything.
It's in the south.
It's in the south. It's not in the north of anything. You understand what I'm saying? So we got 4 anomalies, one right after the other. If you read this on the surface, just read it like, it's God's word, it's a command, you're going to miss everything here. But if you read it as picture after picture after picture after picture, it gives you more and more and more information about what the real thing is. Zion is up. So this cannot be talking about Earth Zion, right? It has to be talking about Yerushalayim Me'olah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking that maybe the reason people can't see it is because they see what we see now, not trying.
Right, I know. That's why I said this. I'm trying to teach you how to read the Bible. That's what I'm doing. Maybe you didn't know that, but that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach you how to read the Bible because you have a lot of stuff that's keeping you from reading it the way he gave it. You understand? And the only way to see the way he gave it is to see it in pictures, simple pictures. Only way to do it. All right, well, look, he gives some more adjectives of this high, lifted up Zion. He says more in this verse, in this passage. Go through her citadels. And it doesn't mean citadels, it means raised up high parts in Hebrew. Armanot. Ram means high or lifted up. Ram Venisa, high and lifted up. Ram means high. Yes? No, it's not. It's only 400 feet at the highest part. But he calls it Armanot. That you may tell it to the next generation. Tell what to the next generation? Tell what?
That is high.
Yes, that it's high. He says it 5 times. It's high, it's high, it's high, it's high, it's high. Now, go tell that to the next generation of Jews. What are you going to tell the next generation? It's high. There's a Jerusalem above. That's simple. Now look at this. Then he says, Ki ze Elohim. For this is God. What's God?
Jerusalem, Zion.
Which Jerusalem? The one that's high. That's why everything in Judaism is set up high. It's that simple. We, the Jews, and Gentiles who join, are supposed to be acting out the Jerusalem above. It's not so that we can be holy. That's crazy. It's crazy. We can't be holy. We're us. We get up in the morning and we're not holy, and we go to bed and we're not holy. But once in a while, we do some holy stuff. Judaism. That's it. And then 5 seconds later, we're back to being us. But while we're doing Jewish stuff, that's what holiness is. Who set us apart, who's made us holy by his what?
Establishment.
His mitzvot. Judaism. That's why we do it. So this is also a different way to think. People want to be holy. And so they do religious things. Jews aren't like that. We do it so we can be what we're supposed to be. And we can teach the whole world what God is like. Ze Elohim. Whoop! This is God. Zion above. This is God. You want to see what God is? There he is. Judaism. Judaism. And I know if you're Christian, I know what you're thinking. Are you saying that Judaism is God? Give me a break. I just explained things 1,000,000 times. Made it very, very clear. So don't forget anything I said and you'll understand. Psalm 68. This is another one. From your temple above Jerusalem. What? Your temple above Jerusalem? How can there be a temple above Jerusalem? Heaven. Yeah. Mehechalecha. From your temple, al Yerushalayim, on Jerusalem, or above Jerusalem. What do you think of them apples? Yeah? Pretty clear, yeah? From your temple above Jerusalem, the kings bring tribute. Where are they bringing tribute from? From where?
From heaven.
from heaven. It's not like kings bringing stuff to King David. That's not what this is. This is kings, maybe king priests, maybe angels, maybe Jews who go into the heights and they get stuff and they bring it because they're bringing it from heaven. So, how do we get to Jerusalem? Go up. Now, this is Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz. He just passed away a couple years ago. Amazing rabbi. Really humble guy. And he wrote the Talmud. He did an entire version of the Talmud. I think he got like a quarter of a way through it before he passed away. This strength that I speak of emanates from your temple, which is situated on Mount Moriah above Jerusalem. Kings of all nations bring gifts and offerings to you there. Where?
Up there.
Where?
Above Jerusalem.
I'm going to keep asking questions. Where?
Above Jerusalem.
Above Jerusalem in heaven. Now this is him making commentary on what this verse means. And he says the same thing. The temple, which is situated on Mount Moriah above Jerusalem. Mount Moriah is lower than Mount Zion. It's about 72 feet below Mount Zion, Mount Moriah. So he knows it's talking about above. Here's the next one. This is another book I wrote, The Gospel of Zion. I love this book. Basically, the bottom line is it says this. You want to know what the gospel is? It's Judaism. That's where Yeshua is seen, in Judaism, period. And I prove it over and over and over and over and over again in the book. Isaiah 40, get yourself on a high mountain, Mevaseret Tzion, gospel bringer Zion. Who does he tell to get up on a high mountain?
Zion.
Okay, I'll say it again. Get yourself up on a high mountain, gospel bringer Zion. Who does he say to get up on a high mountain?
Zion.
Gospel bringer Zion. And then he says, lift your voice, yeah. Lift your voice, raise it high. Gospel bringer Jerusalem. So, where is Jerusalem and Zion in this verse?
On a high mountain.
Come on, guys. Where?
On a high mountain.
Oh, wow. Really?
It says on a high mountain.
No, what I'm saying really, because it's like you're fading. You're fading. Is it too much already? Okay. Well, I shortened the prayers so we could do this. Okay. Go up on a high mountain. Who does he tell to go up on a high mountain? Zion, Jerusalem. Same thing. Raise your voice forcefully, gospel bringer Jerusalem. Raise it up. Don't be afraid. Say to the Jews, Ze Elohim. Behold, Hine ha Elohim. Behold your God. Behold. What does that mean? Behold. Look. See. Look. Look. Where? Jerusalem. Zion. Above. On a high mountain. Because we already know Zion ain't no high mountain. Right? So that's why this whole concept is so important to me. The gospel is not brought to the Jews. The gospel comes from the Jews to the rest of the world. Salvation is from the Jews. Well, here's a picture of it. Here's Zion lifted up high, and the gospel's going out from Zion, not to Zion. And here's, in this picture, all these people flowing up to Zion, kind of like water. They're water Jews. Here's the next one.
Sorry.
I heard that too.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's read the verse first. Psalm 122. I was glad when they said to me, let's go to the house of the Lord. Which direction are you going to go? Up. Let's go up. Our feet are standing within your gates, Jerusalem. Jerusalem that has been built as a city that is firmly joined together, to which the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord. Now, I've read this for 40-some years. I never understood it till yesterday. because I was smart enough to go on Safaria and just look up Jerusalem above. And I came across passage after passage after passage after passage from the rabbis, and they all say the same thing. They all focus on this verse. And they say, what does it mean, a city that's unified, compact together? And they say that over and over and over again. That means the upper worlds are joined with the lower worlds when Messiah comes. And he is going to unify the Jerusalem above with the Jerusalem below, so that all the world does Judaism. That's what they say. And they all say the same thing. Right. It'll finally be heaven on earth. That's exactly right. So he says unification of above and below, or below and above. This is one of the principal missions of Mashiach ben Yosef, to unify heaven and earth with the joining of Jerusalem above, with the Jerusalem below, by a rebuilt Jerusalem. What does that mean? That doesn't mean just building the city. That means that is going to come and infuse what's below with what's above and rebuild the whole city. I don't mean physically rebuild. I mean like spiritually rebuild the whole city. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Well, physically too, but mostly spiritually. Then it will be, where'd I go? Then it will be like a city that is united together, above and below. That's our whole purpose in life, is to unite that with this. That's why we do prayers. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who brings forth the bread from the earth. Then you eat the bread, and hopefully you release sparks. Hopefully you release energy that was lost. And so we say the prayer before we eat, and then we eat, and as we eat, we worship with it, and we unite heaven and earth by bringing Judaism into our life. That's what Judaism's for, to unite above and below. That's why we do it. And as we're doing it, we get to know God.
Question, what does it say, Mashiach ben Joseph?
We're not going to go into that. You know why? Because you all are already fading. A city that is united together. That is the complete connection between Jerusalem above and Jerusalem below. When will this occur? When Jerusalem will be rebuilt, seen in the same verse. This connection will be brought about by the two aspects of Messiah. Don't even ask, we don't have time.
This is from Safaria?
Yeah, this is a really cool book that's all about the Messiah, called Kol HaTor, which means the voice of the, what they call turtle dove, or the pigeon. Voice of the Holy Spirit is what it means. I just think this is amazing. That's why we do Judaism. We want to get to know God. Well, you can't get to know God unless you do that stuff. And that stuff looks, unfortunately, for you, Jewish. And I say unfortunately because you know what I'm saying. Every time it comes to you doing it, you've got that voice in the back of your head. Right? It says one of two things. But you're a Christian. You're a Gentile. Or it says, it's God's commands. Or both. Might say both. All right, here's the next one. Look what Rabbi Nachman said. Rabbi Nachman. What is the meaning of that which is written? It is holy in your midst, and I will not enter the city, from Hosea. Now, this is God talking, saying, I'm not going to enter into the city. It's holy in there. God saying, I'm not going to enter. It's holy in there. Rabbi Yochanan said the verse should be understood. The Holy One said, I will not enter Jerusalem above in heaven until I enter Jerusalem below on earth. What does that mean?
First here and then on the
Okay, but how? How's he going to get into the one down here? By Jews inviting him there. By doing Judaism. And then he can be seen in heaven. Okay, lost 2 of you, but it looks like the rest of you got it. Right?
Yeah.
So he has to be invited into Jerusalem, into the lower Jerusalem. I will not enter Jerusalem above until I get to enter the Jerusalem on earth at the time of the redemption, when it will be holy in your midst. And is there such a place as Jerusalem above? Yes, as it is written, Jerusalem built up, a city unified together. The term unified indicates that there are 2 Jerusalems, a heavenly and an earthly, which are bound together. Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
Now, how are you going to communicate this to Christians? It's simple.
Simply.
It is so simple. It's so simple. Everything about Zion and Jerusalem, God says, is
A picture of what's in heaven.
no, high. It's high. Every time he talks about Zion, it's high. But it's not. So either God is a liar, or you didn't think I was going to go there, or it's got to mean something else, that there's a Jerusalem above.
Going with B.
Okay, you got me that far, yes or no?
Yes.
And tzav, what's translated as command, doesn't mean command. It means something set up or standing or erect, high, just like Jerusalem. So you should do that stuff, Christian. It's that simple. It's that simple. No, they'll get it if you say it simply. They'll get it if you say it simple. Now, they're going to have all kinds of questions and nonsense, but that's okay. If you just say it very simply, it is understandable. But you got to see it simple. That either God's lying, that's how simple this is. Either God's lying, or it's a description after description after description of something else. A different height. Right? I think a kindergartner can follow that, I think. You're right. We start early. All right. Psalm 137. If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my... Oh, now this one is really cool. I'm playing with the translation, but it does bear out in the Hebrew. If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither, let my tongue stick to my palate. If I cease to think of you, if I don't raise Jerusalem above my highest joy. Now that makes sense to us. If I do not raise Jerusalem above my highest joy, but it doesn't say that in Hebrew. It says, if I do not make Jerusalem above my highest joy, my chief joy. That's what it says. I show it to you. Im lo, if no, a'ale, I make the above Yerushalayim. I make above Yerushalayim on the head of my joy. Yeah? So it's saying, don't make so much this Jerusalem on earth your great joy. Make that Jerusalem your great joy. But remember, that Jerusalem looks like this Jerusalem. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, here's a tzadi. Now I'm teaching like Eileen. It only took an hour. So, here's a tzadi, different styles of tzadi, written differently. They all look like what it is. Righteous. It means righteous. And it's a Jew on his knees, humble, praying. That's tzadi, righteous. Yeah? Pretty cool, right? And now we have tzadi vav, which is tzav. What does tzav mean? Set up or establish, right? Tzav. What does it mean? It means righteous and, or righteous connected. Because a vav is a tent peg or a hook. And it literally, the word vav, you just stick a vav on the beginning of any word and it means and whatever. That's what vav means. It means and. So it's a connector. It's up. And it's upright. It's just a stick with a head on it. It's upright. Okay? It's yashar. So how should we read, if you want to read a little deeper in pictorial form, tzadi vav? What does it mean? Righteous connection. Right? Righteous and. Whatever comes after that is going to be righteous. Righteous and. Righteous connection. All of Judaism is a tzav, is a mitzvah.
Judaism connects you to God.
Right, exactly right. Doing Judaism, and I hesitate to use this word because of all the Christian baggage that a lot of you have, it connects you to God and makes you righteous. I hate that word righteousness, the way it's used. Love it in Judaism because it's this, on your knees, humble. And it just means you look like God. You're doing Jewish stuff. That's all. For whatever period of time you're doing it. Then you go back to being you. Yes?
So, Vav as a connector, it's also seen as a man standing, which is what we saw a little earlier. But there was two ways you used the word, like Tzav, and then you went to other words, and they used the bait.
Mm-hmm.
And the bait is a home. So it is like a place, a righteous place.
Yes, it's putting righteousness in your home, in your body, but I don't want to go with the bait. I want to go with the word sav because that's the name of the Torah portion.
Okay.
So you want to lay other stuff, but then you want me to teach shorter. You can't have it both ways. So,
It was a good point.
and so I know that, but we can't do it. It's always a good point. That's the problem. It's always a good point, but we can't do it. I got a limit. We'd be here all day. So listen, when it says in the beginning of our Torah portion, it says, Tzav, Aaron and his kids, Zeh HaTorah, this is the Torah. How can you read that knowing what this Tzadi and Vav means? Righteous and connect Aaron and your sons. This is the Torah. Connect to it, right. Exactly. Connect to it. So this is what we have. Tzav, set up or establish Aaron and his sons saying, this is the Torah. Zot HaTorah. Tzav, Aaron and his sons saying, this, Tzav, is the Torah. This is the Torah. Tzav is the Torah. This, the word itself, yes, is the Torah. But it's also Tzav, Aaron and his sons saying this set up Jerusalem. Tzion. Tzion. Tzion is the Torah. Do you see why I'm saying now that Zion equals, it's a code word for Judaism. Does that make sense? Okay. I feel like I need a drink. You don't.
Oh, this is a beautiful picture.
Oh, thank you so much. I love this picture. This is actually Isaiah 40. See the preacher and the shofar, and they're calling out from Zion, and everybody's going up to Zion. Now it will come about that in the last days that the mountain of the house of the Lord, except it's not a mountain. So, but now it's on earth. Now it's on earth. That the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as the head of the mountains and raised above the hills. And all the Gentiles will stream to it. All the Gentiles will stream to it. All the Gentiles will stream to it to come to know God. The whole world is upside down and backwards saying, we need to reach the Jews with the gospel. Nonsense. The gospel will go to all the Gentiles and they'll come to Jerusalem to come to know God. And everything will be set up correctly, right side up. And they'll say, the Gentiles will say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. It's going to be on earth. Judaism is going to fill the world, to the house of the God of Jacob, so he may teach us his ways. And we may walk in his paths. In other words, do Judaism. And these are Gentiles. For the Torah will go out from Zion, not to Zion, from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. In my opinion, it has both words here because this is the one above and this is the one on earth. That's what I think. I can't prove it, but that's what I believe. But I know that everything's going to be set right, and the Gentiles, the only way they could get to know God, the only way, was to go to that temple. That's the only way they could know God. That's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed and reinstituted on earth. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay. That's what I have to say. Let's pray.
You want to sing another song?
I got a better idea. Why don't you come lead worship? Hey, I tell you what, since I always want to sing more, but I'm concerned about my family. Since we ended on this, let's end on this. But, there's a caveat. I'm not going to sing or play. I'm just going to stop if the men don't sing. Men. No, that's okay. All right. Oh, I need the music.
Go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. And the law will go forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. We will walk in his footsteps, and he will teach us his ways. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Yah. Chris, you gotta sing. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will judge many people and decide for mighty nations far and wide. Swords will be beaten into plowshares, and nations will not learn war again. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. Unto the house of the God of Jacob. Unto the house of the God of Jacob. Woo! Shabbat shalom, everybody.